Little technical difficulty right there. What's up? Oh, we got all our cut. No, I'm sorry. Wrong show. Excuse me. Shout out to that SEC podcast. This is the recruiting intel, Sooners Intel. Your host, Chris Griffin, Chris with a K, Horns Down podcast. All my Horns fan out there. Hope y'all watching. Y'all gonna sit comfy and watch everything on Friday night, right? But over here, my sidekick, my partner in crime, my guy, Chris Mason, recruiting with Chris Mason. That's the show right now, right? So, Chris Mason, how you do? Oh, first off, excuse me. It's been a minute since we did a show. Sooners 360 himself. Go and check out the Patreon. Go do all the rest of those things. Only $2. Every time we get on here, we talk about it. It's only $2 to subscribe. It's all the information you're getting from everywhere else. And plus, he has his own spin on it. No fluff, no none of that. Wednesday night, he's going to drop another pod just talking about recruiting. But tonight, I think we want to just kind of get into some early portal talk and some of the current stuff that's happening right now with some of the entries that we've had recently. But Chris Mason, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Unfortunately, guys, there is a deficit of high school recruiting info because our coaching staff is going night and day to figure out how to kick Bama's ass. And our front office is night and day right now trying to figure out who's in the portal, who do we need, who should we go after. So high school recruiting on a little bit of a lull until the new year when we have a couple of all-star games and some announcements to follow. So recruiting intel-wise, we're probably going to have some portal stuff and some other stuff I can throw together for you. But high school-wise, as long as the Sooners are playing football, 2027 high school recruiting is going to a little bit be on pause. Probably no new offers going out and stuff like that. But portal's about to go absolutely nuts. As the phrase has been said, portal combat is about to be engaged. And if you weren't paying attention today, quarterback portal combat just landed with massive news with DJ Lagway, Brendan Sorsby, and the Riola kid from Nebraska all hit the portal. Chambliss sounds like he's going to be hitting the portal as well. I'm not sure if he's going to wait until he plays a game or not. But just being said, if you were thinking if OU was going to be in the hunt for a backup or a new quarterback to replace Mateer or do anything along those lines, OU's going to be playing football while I think a lot of these quarterback deals are going to be done, under the table. So just a lot of quarterback movement already. It doesn't include Sam Levitt. If you add Trinidad Chambliss to it as well, there's going to be a lot of money spent on quarterbacks in the next 2 weeks. And some of that will help OU. He does need his waiver approved. And I'm not really sure he should get a waiver, to be honest. I'm not sure his rationale for it is as strong as other folks. He didn't play a different sport. He used a redshirt year. He was only hurt one season. Generally, for a redshirt, for medical redshirt, you kind of need to be hurt for 2 years. I think that's the baseline I've always used. So we'll see. But a lot of teams are going to be spending a lot of cash. Probably where OU is not going to be spending cash at quarterback. They've got a fixed cost with Mateer, and let's hope he has a great playoff game, and we can kind of put to bed any of those kind of discussions and move forward on that. But there's a lot of money being spent today. There's a lot of maneuvering going around. DJ Lagway is going to command a big dollar number on the open market. I do wonder if when DJ goes somewhere else, does Davion Gross decide that Buster Faulkner's offense is not something he wants to be a part of?
Chris Mason, I got to cut that one out. It fits him. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. The Lagway thing, and I've seen, a lot of Florida fans are ripping him to shreds. 14 interceptions with 16 touchdowns and lack of effort and scared to compete and all the rest of that. People, I think a lot of that is just a facade. Now they're saying that they challenged him. about his want to and his love for football. And they wanted to see more. They wanted to open that QB battle up. And so a lot of people are saying he's get out of there because he's scared of competition. I would disagree and say I think Lagway's getting out of there mainly because he's just not a fit for that offense. With the injuries that he has and his play style, he's not Haynes King. He's not a bowling ball that is just going to run around and do those things. And then just to kind of go back to the Gross thing, Chris Mason, I think Gross fits that. If he's this Percy Harvin like player that they describe him as, and he's a gadget player, why not go play in that offense? Because um, there are times where they can get vertical and they can do some things they want to do, but we all know that offense is built around a triple option style of football with the quarterback, heavy RPO mostly, but it's a lot of runs and built in there, but it's a lot of east west plays. It is basically a how should I say this? To me, I think it's a better it's a better version most of the time of a Gus Malzahn offense. Gus Malzahn's offense, there's 3-4 games out of the year you could pick where just everything is clicking, but the rest of the games you're just like, this one right here it adapts a little bit. But I just don't think that's what you're looking at there. I think whatever quarterback they get, they need somebody who fits that type of mold, who's going to be mobile and who can run and who can take hits because they're going to ask a lot out of that quarterback just because of what we saw there at Georgia Tech these past couple of years. I mean, it was really gritty, it's really grimy, and you just don't have the guys there that you probably will have at Florida. But again, that's something that you got to see. I'm monitoring the whole Dallas Wilson situation because you go and look at um, the Singletons and guys like that who went from who left Georgia Tech to go to Auburn. Well, he thought he was going to get greener pastures, but we all know the story there. But you get what I'm saying, Chris Mason. Like
Yeah, I
you're
just
not
think
you're not getting to show your game as a wide receiver.
yeah, I think Gross wants to make the doesn't want to play that whole running back thing. He wants to be a wide receiver in college. So I think we'll see. Maybe he was thinking he was going to play with Lagway. Maybe he was thinking it was going to be a wide open offense. Like I said, that's a teetering thing. It's absolutely it's he could walk away from that letter of intent. That it's not even a letter of intent any longer. It's just basically I'd like to enroll here, and ask out of that with the coaching change. Florida pretty much has to cut him loose. So we'll be interested. The rumor is that they're going to try and snag Georgia Tech's backup, Philo something, the Philo kid. So Faulkner is going to raid his former employer of his next year's starter. But this is how it works. I mean, you're seeing the whole bizarre recruiting transition from, Penn State guys are going to Va-Tech, Iowa State guys are going to Penn State, and Washington State guys are going to Iowa State. It's kind of a messy train, and I'm glad OU is not on that train. But
I'm glad that they're in there too. And people, we're here for a good time, not a long time, but we're going to open it up a little bit. We will get to some of the notes and different things that we've heard about OU today, but definitely want to open it up and kind of talk from a national perspective as well. Just with Florida, though, Chris Mason, we just spend just a few more minutes on that. I would just say, I think that you have to take a hard look at their roster simply because a lot of players just don't fit what they're trying to accomplish there.
yeah, they
And
don't.
with Summerall has ran somewhat of a spread, kind of an RPO, those days where he had Mensa and all that, and they put up points. But, with the style of ball that they're trying to go to, I mean, I think Florida fans have to take a step back and realize, like, hey, you know, you're going to be sweating out a lot of games this next year. It's not going to be blowout city and just this spread attack. This is going to be a very condensed, concise, and precise offense that is built upon QB run and just a run game period, and short passes. A lot of short passing game. It's not what you're going to see with Will Stein in Kentucky. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? And not saying
Yeah,
that
it is.
Faulkner is a bad OC coach. I'm not going to say that at all. He's going to have some weapons there in Florida, but if you're expecting them to put up 30 to 40 points per game, Spurrier days, I think you're sadly mistaken. And I think that losing somebody like Lagway still come back and bite you in the ass.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what's going on there. So let's get to some names in the portal
Go
to
ahead.
think about. So let's talk about Dallas. Let's talk about Dallas Wilson. Is there any connections between OU and Dallas Wilson? My sources say that OU is definitely interested when he officially hits, if he's deciding to hit the portal. So OU has the money for one big-time wide receiver. That's what I'm told. And if they lose Satania, which is kind of the way things are looking, they probably have money for a second guy as well. But if you notice, Jim Nagy just went on KREF saying we need to play more wide receivers and we need to play our young wide receivers and start developing them. Very bold, a very clear message being sent to Arbuckle and Jones from their general manager saying, I'm not paying big dollar for wide receivers every year. Figure this crap out about development on our roster from the guys I'm getting you on signing day. So, and I got you two guys I'm really high on, Jasir Rogers and Jaden Petit. So keep an eye out for that. There's two pieces there. There's lots of wide receivers hitting the portal. One name that I think might be interesting to watch because he seems to sort of have a similar profile to Isaiah Satania is Auburn wide receiver Malcolm Simmons. Had a good end to his year. He's 6 foot, 186 pounds. He's a junior next year. You could get 2 years out of him. And he's athletic. He's got good speed. And he's had a nice, and most of the Auburn wide receivers have been hitting the portal, except for Cam Coleman at this point.
And Singleton.
He's a senior.
Oh, I thought Singleton was a junior. Could have sworn.
Well, he's going pro. He's going pro regardless. He's just going to gamble and go pro. I don't think he's hitting the portal again. So we'll see. We'll see what Golish can do. But so Simmons might be a guy that where 450 yards, 18 yards per catch average, 25 receptions, underutilized, and we know why. We know why Auburn wide receivers all have crappy stats, for the same reason why OU wide receivers had crappy stats, So that's a name to watch. I got 3 tight end names, a repeat of a tight end name, and 2 new tight end names to track.
What's that?
So the first tight end name it's Brody Foley from Tulsa. He's 6'6", 260. He had a really good 2025 season. The only problem is he's from Cincinnati, Ohio. And you know where I'm about to go with this. Ohio State's very interested in him.
Yeah.
So but OU's going to be around that. If the number doesn't go too ugly, I could see OU being deep into that. They're also apparently kicking the tires and looking at, where is it? It's a tight end from Maine State, of all places. Let me get the name here.
I hear you on that, Topher. If Ohio State wants Foley, they can give us Nate Roberts. I think.
Yeah, we'll take a trade on that.
Yeah.
We'll take the trade on that. So, come on, Google, stop being annoying here.
I think did Topher put the name in there? Luke Denny?
Yeah, no, that's not. It's Grigson. His name is Luke Grigson.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, let me get it. Now that I found his name, I'll look him up. Get that Grigson football. All right. Okay. He's 6'7", 245 pounds. He's at Maine. Sorry. Huge wingspan. 4.75. He's reporting a 4.75 40, and OU is looking into him. So, Josh Ford. Yeah, he's 6'6", 245, 77-inch wingspan. Runs a 4.75, 33-inch vertical. He has 3 years of eligibility. So, also is a long snapper. So, he has some versatility there. Obviously, Josh Ford, they already had a visit from. He's probably going to go to Bama. I don't think he's going to choose OU. So that appears to be where that's going. I think OU will probably kick the tires on Wake Forest defensive tackle Mateen Ibirogba. I just butchered that. It's Ibirogba. He's been around, knocked around some different places, but he's 6'3", 296, and he had a productive year this year at Wake Forest. 21 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. He might be someone who could fit in our rotation and who Bates could coach up to be maybe an NFL type guy. Let's pull up what Francis Bowles is mentioning. Yeah, I mean, I think the Michigan thing could end up impacting OU's portal activity, right? If Marsh hits the portal and he would like to be a Sooner, he had a very productive freshman year. That's something I could see OU being. That could be the second wide receiver OU grabs while they try and make a big play for somebody big. They're also trying to look for 2 tight ends, a 2-way tight end, and then a big blocking tight end. So we need to see what happens with maybe some Iowa State, Penn State guys at tight end, possibly. Casey's brother, OU's recruiting Casey Alexander heavily in the 2027 class. If he was to choose OU, or if his brother was to hit the portal, I know you missed out on him out of high school. He's 6'4", 245. He's a good 2-way tight end, had a good freshman year at Iowa State. Iowa State has a couple of other tight ends who would look good in Crimson. So we need to see kind of what's happening there. Penn State has a number of good tight ends. So I think OU can find hopefully can find some upgrades at the tight end position to just sustain OU long enough for some of the recruiting to take hold of. I mean, a blow for OU is that Ryder Mix tore his knee up late this year in his high school season, so he's not available. Man. He's not available to play. Ruxer, I think, can be a factor early, but Ryder Mix is out, so I think you've got to get another tight end body in. I think some tight end guys will probably be asked to matriculate elsewhere.
Are you looking for 2? What's the magic number in the portal that you're looking for?
2. A big blocking tight end, someone who can be in line and hit people and create and mash people, so that the running lane stuff that Buckle wants to run from with 2 tight ends, that someone that can execute that at an SEC level, and who can also slip out short yardage, goal line type stuff, be effective in that way. The guy we really need is Brody Aldridge, right? From the 07, 08, 09 teams, right? That's what Brody Eldridge. That's what we need. A 6'5", 255 guy who could just hammer people. And then you need a true 2-way tight end. Someone who is capable of blocking, smartly knows how to block. You're not looking for them to be, Gronowski just leveling people, but someone who can be a true 2-way threat, block in the running game, but also get downfield, get between the linebackers, and be a threat. Do what Kanik has done sometimes, but be a more effective blocker. A true 2-way tight end. And I think they're looking for that. That's what they're looking for.
True. So. And I think that Caden Helms gives you a shot to really have a nice 3-man rotation next year if you can find 2 guys in the
and pool. Tyler Ruxer, if he hits it in spring, you've got 4 guys you can rely upon. But
yeah. I mean, you just have to kind of see. I mean, the question is what happens to Kent, the other kid that came in the portal this year, and the McIntyre guys like that.
Huggins is a senior, so that resolves itself. But
McIntyre
and Kent, I think ideally no offense to those guys, but you swap those guys out for higher performing players.
Yeah.
If you could get Cooper from Iowa State, and then you could find a big blocking tight end from somewhere else, I think that would be good. And then the wild card at tight end is Trene Washington.
Yeah.
who's an awesome looking athlete and who I kind of think maybe should be moved to defense and then figure out his best position. If he's not clicking at tight end this spring, I think you can't waste a 6'5", 245-pound guy running a 4.7, on offense where he's not playing, right?
Yeah.
Not with our defense, not with the positions that he could play on defense. If he drops some weight, he could be a big cheetah, he could be an outside linebacker, or he could be a defensive end at his current size weight. You just can't waste Trene Washington because he's not picking up college tight end, right?
Oh man, we forgetting about C.J. Nixon too.
He's at defensive end. He's not playing tight end.
You don't think he could just switch?
Yeah, I
over?
think you're gonna have to kill. You'd have to kill Miguel Chavis to get him out of his to get him out of his defensive end room. I think
Og says get rid of everyone except Helms in the tight end room. I mean, I think having conversations with him, and I think I could talk for maybe Jimmy and the rest of the guys here. Topher, if you're still in here, I think everybody is just churning. Is just really the desire out there is just to get guys who have production, right? Not only production, but guys who can stay healthy and make it through this grueling SEC season. I think that not only have you put a lot of the negative recruiting to rest, but I think also it's a simple fact that now when teams are putting on film of OU, it's not going to be. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not like at a super, super high volume, but you can't sit there and say that OU doesn't use their tight ends, right?
No, from a recruiting standpoint and from a portal standpoint, you could definitely say, hey, look, I mean, the guy that they're trying to recruit out of high school, the elite tight end they're trying to recruit out of high school, Seneca Driver, he was at the LSU game. One of the comments he's made was, they work the tight end. They're using the tight end. There is another tight end name somebody just reminded me of. There is a UGA kid who had to medically retire. He's a big athletic kid, 6'8", 255. He was the number 2 tight end in the 23 class. He played in 6 games as a true freshman. Then he had to retire because of a heart thing. The heart thing's been resolved, and he's hit the portal. I think that's probably worth a gamble for OU to kick the tires on and see where they are. So I would like for OU to look at him. I'm sure someone will beat me to this, but I'll try and grab you his name. He's a big tight end. Like I said, 6'8", 255. UGA. Pierce Spurlin. So he's 6'8", 255 allegedly. So, but yeah. So I think overall, even okay, Unc, we know how we don't need to go there. Everyone has made their feelings on our tight end coach expresses abundantly clear. I've even expressed them, so we all know what we're going on there. But I think that's where they'd like to go in the portal. Linebacker, I think, is wholly dependent upon what happens with the linebackers on the roster. He was being coy, but you can tell if Heineke gets a waiver, he's coming back.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you get either Kip or Kobe back, do you need a portal linebacker? I'm not really sure you do. If you only get Heineke back, if you lose Heineke and Kip and you only bring Kobe back, you got to bring somebody in. And there's a couple of linebackers out there that could possibly fit that bill that OU has started following, but there's nothing really. I think until you know what's going on with your linebackers, you don't know if you need a linebacker in the portal.
What's some of the names so everybody can start?
It's the Colorado State guy we mentioned before, the Snow guy. There's a guy who has ESPN in his name that hit the portal. Let me see if I can find that guy. There's been some linebackers. Linebacker.
Yeah, we need some names so we can go watch the film, Chris Mason.
All right. All right, so Gideon ESPN Lampron.
That's a name, right?
Yeah. He's a Bowling Green all MAC linebacker. He hit the portal. He's got really pretty good stats. His name literally has ESPN in it. So he had a breakout season. He had 119 tackles, 17 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and a pass deflection. So, and he's a pretty big kid. So, and he has ESPN in the name. So how cool is that? So that's a name I think OU would look at in terms of trying to add a linebacker, someone with that kind of experience and that kind of production. I mean, the guys to come into our linebacker room, they've got to be ready to hit the ground running, and they've got to be productive. Otherwise, they're just not going to play, right? We'll just have other guys slide in. So,
who's the Colorado State kid?
His name is. I'm not sure he's even in the portal yet, but. No, that's not it.
Wasn't it something like Luke Owen or something like that?
Yeah, it's like Luke Owen. Yeah,
Yeah.
Colorado State linebacker.
Yeah.
Owen Long.
Yeah.
That's someone that has been thrown around. I'm not sure he's actually in the portal yet, but he was very productive this year. Was a really good linebacker this year. So there's a couple of names at linebacker. I'm not sure. I think OU has a very strong chance of standing pat in the secondary again.
Well,
Defensive tackle, they're gonna try and find a guy because they can't take the risk that Smith and Wilson don't take the step that we think they will take in spring, because they won't then be able to add anyone afterwards.
mm-hmm.
So I think they'll try and take one guy who is sort of fits in that Dejon Walker kind of mode. So, well, he's certainly not. He is certainly reaching out to agents left and right. Let's leave it at that, and saying, "Here's what I'm looking for. Do you know of any? Here's what I'm looking for. So just in case you have a client, who might be a fit. If you can read between my lines, that's what Nagy's doing.
Yeah.
He's reaching out to agents, saying, "Hey, I'm probably shopping for a tight end. Just in case you have a client that's a tight end that might be interested in contacting us." And you can sort of tell that that's a roundabout way of saying that Nagy's letting it be known that to certain agents, I'm looking to pay money, and this is what I'm looking for. Florida just did have a tight end hit the portal. He hasn't played that much. He's Amir Jackson. He was a top tight end. He's 6'5", 235. I don't know anything about him. Their best tight end is a big kid from Weatherford, Texas, called Hayden Hansen. He's an awesome blocker. We sort of wondered how Florida beat up Texas on the road. Hansen at tight end was one of the ways they did. He battered the Texas defensive ends all game, so that allowed Lagway to have throwing time. That also allowed them to run the football. So that's but I would be shocked if he might go pro though. That's entirely possible. And he fits what that offense that they're about to run to a key. He's basically a perfect fit for what they want to do. For that new scheme they're going to run. He's a big kid though. He's nearly 6'8" and he's 265. I'm sorry, he's 6'8" and he's only 270. So if you could steal him, that would be perfect. But I don't see how he's going to stay, and I don't see how they're going to lose him. So Jimmy Fattisfield asking about O-line. There's not much on the O-line guys so far. There was a South Alabama guy that hit the portal today. He's played every position at South Alabama. He's 6'3", 330. He's played center, guard, tackle. He's an all-conference kind of guy. He certainly would fit the I need guys to play multiple positions on the O-line stuff that we've been hearing from Nagy. And if he's any good, we know Nagy will know about him because he's from South Alabama and Nagy has all these contacts down in Mobile and that part of the country. So if they want to pursue him, I'm guessing they would. But right now, there's no real indication right now that anybody from OU is following him.
I'm here with you. I'm going through it right now. I'm trying to see, looking at the transfer portal now.
Yeah, his name's Kenton. What is it? It's Kenton Gerardo.
You know, I mean, I'll be honest with you. The transfer portal is already pretty full, but
there's a lot of names, but there's not many slippers you want to. There's not many, there's not a lot of guys you really want.
Yeah, and I just, I see the offensive lineman that came out of Auburn today.
A bunch of them have come out of Auburn.
Yeah, and I was just like, would you take a shot at one of those Auburn?
Their O-line sucked.
Yeah, it's
the guy I would take out of Auburn would be the high school kid that that was part of the 2025 class that Auburn got. Brandon Broderick Shull from I think he's from Owasso. So I think that's a name to consider. Obviously, Auburn picked up a really high-profile transfer from Vartech last year, who didn't really pan out there. Maybe you may take a gamble that Bill could fix him. Running back, we just need the confirmation that OU needs a running back in the portal. We just need a name to hit the portal to say, then go bring in a portal running back. A lot of rumors that Jaden Bow is going to go to Texas and join his running back coach. UT jettisoned their running back coach and hired Florida's. Some sense that maybe they did that to get Jaden Bow. But Florida sites are saying that they're close to re-signing Bow. Of course, Bow cleared out his UF stuff from his social media, which is a nice negotiating tactic, if you ask me, right? Like, from that, yeah, I'm not touching a single MFer from the South Carolina offensive line. Those guys are trash. I mean, unless he's a redshirt, 5-star redshirt freshman and he hasn't been infected by whatever they've been doing there, I'm not touching I don't want to touch Auburn offensive lineman or South Carolina offensive lineman, Kentucky offensive lineman. These guys are old. Those guys just aren't better than what we have. I don't want to really touch any of those guys for the most part. So I think you can find better elsewhere. But, we'll see. Overall, OU needs a center and they need a guard. This South Alabama guy can play both. So we'll see if OU. I mean, Nagy will know if this guy's worth it or not. So we'll see. Chris, the big thing to sort of end on is no OU players are hitting the portal. The only OU. So I kind of wonder if the team has sort of like rallied and said, Topher, has he played though? Is he their starting center? Their starting center is like the guy going to the pros. So that's his second transfer too. I don't know if he's not damaged.
Well, there he is.
Zendamela. Yeah, but he hasn't played, I don't think. So I don't know what that VPN thing that just flashed across the screen was, but all right. But yeah, I think overall the offensive line names haven't hit yet. Like for instance, if Andrew Sprague or Sprague from Michigan hits the portal, do you go with him and move him in at right tackle and move Foji inside, and then that takes care of one problem, you just need a center? If Andrew Babalola hits the portal, what do you do there? So Sooners for life, these are all good questions, but if you have Foji at right tackle, we don't need to spend money on a tackle. Not to the level that these guys probably want. So,
well, let me ask you this though: are you confident that? And I'm going to probably butcher his last name, but Blakenau it will be serviceable.
Backlenko?
Yeah, Backlenko. Like, I mean, I think
Oh,
at
Howland.
left,
Howland's your right tackle backup.
yeah.
So if you keep
So
Howland the back,
Howland's your right tackle, but who's your left?
well, I would say in an off, if he sticks around next offseason, it probably should be Isaiah Dent, right?
Yeah,
If he sticks around.
that's the question. I mean,
This is the when you're talking O line portal, we got to figure out who's exiting first, right? We need one guy at guard,
yeah.
which could easily be Darius Afalava could win that job in spring. He could. He's that talented. He's that good. But chose USC. Okay, that's kind of a vague. You're going to have to give me a little more to go on from that.
Is he talking about the linebacker? Clarify that. Keep going, Chris Mason.
So you've got to figure out who's leaving before I think you figure out how much portal additions you need. And if you can pick up somebody like Babalola or the Broderick Shaw kid, you basically just add them to the high school class, right? They're basically red shirts. Yeah. Zendamela is the guy who went to USC, then went to FSU, then USC, then Florida. So he's had a little bit of he's kind of hopscopping around. So yep, Jimmy. I think Ryan Foji is our backup center. Something if Makala can't play and Weiwu has to play center, and God forbid something happens to Weiwu, then our next center is Ryan Foji. And then Jacob Sexton is probably playing right tackle.
Take it or leave it, right?
Or right guard, and you move Simmons inside. If we're down to our third center, yeah, I mean things are getting a little bit shifty. But yeah, I think if you could find some young guys in the portal, that would work too. But in terms of how many portal slots you actually have, I think you've got 2 spots, one for a center, one for a guard.
What's your magic number that they take in the portal this year that would make you happy?
2 tight ends, 1 wide receiver. Let's just call it 3 offensive linemen, a defensive tackle, a linebacker. So that's about all I would really want. That's about 9.
Yeah.
About 9 guys, 6 on offense. The defense doesn't need a whole lot. I mean, there are definitely questions of whether you just let Miguel Chavez's defensive end group just churn away the next group, right? And don't mess that rotation and development up by bringing somebody in. That's an argument I think they're having right now. Same thing at defensive tackle, although they're losing more at defensive tackle from a certain perspective than at defensive end. You could view that and you could argue that one way or the other. So linebacker, OU needs an answer on the 3 linebackers like ASAP, right? Got to figure out what we're doing with our linebacker room. If 2 guys are coming back with the guys we have on the roster, the guys we're bringing in, and Omosigo, Nesta, and Marcus James getting a bunch of work in spring, then I think you can make it all work. If you lose 2 guys, you got to bring a guy in. Again, I'd like him to pick up. Yeah, well, you let me know where that unicorn is grazing right now. And the only guy close to that is on OU's roster, Taylor Hine. He's 6'6", 225. He runs like a 4.6. He's fast. You could put another 10 pounds on him easy. And he could be an unreal cheetah. So he was a safety wide receiver in high school. So there's just not many guys out there that you could do. So I think 1 linebacker makes sense. If it's a senior, and you bring back all 3, and you bring back Heineke, Kobe, and Kip, I don't really see the point in that. If you start losing some of those guys, then yeah, definitely bring in the best linebacker you can find from the portal to just plug in.
I mean, I'm hopeful that we're able to kind of resolve those questions fairly quickly whenever this season is basically ending. I'm hoping that the Kobe and Kips, that you can convince them to both come back. And even if you were to lose a Heineke, I think 1 more year with Sammy O is going to be pretty incredible. I think that you kind of think about, damn, what is he going to look like next year? He's got another year in this defense, and then you have to think about the Marcus James, the Nesta kid. I think that we may be discounting them, just like we're discounting, what's already on the roster. Is what I'm trying to say. Because
Right, because they haven't. We're so deep at linebacker, they just can't get on the field except for blowouts,
yeah,
and we're not blowing anybody out. Same thing for Wilson and Smith, right? They can't get on the field because we're 5 deep at defensive tackle. Yeah, Sooner Cowboys, that's an interesting issue. Why Lee Fowl, if that's how you say him, or LeFau, is leaving Texas is fascinating when he's there only returning middle linebacker because Anthony Hill is going pro. So him leaving Texas, and he's apparently withdrawn from school, so he's like gone. That's very interesting about what's going on with Texas's portal money and their overall budget about what they're doing. If they're sacrificing their middle linebacker so they can spend money elsewhere, based upon their defense being the heart of their team the last 3 years. That's a very interesting strategy by Texas.
I'll be honest with you, and I'm surprised none of our Texas brethren in here. I'm late in the game right now. I'm surprised Bevo isn't here, but spitting that nonsense. Regardless, though, I will say this, Chris Mason. Me and my uncle, we have a conversation about Texas daily, just talking trash, but there are some good parts of it, which are, I kind of feel like Texas is going to have damn near a brand new team next year. I mean, I feel like some of the moves they've made in the portal. Some of the moves as far as just these kids are exiting, the Jared Gibsons, the obviously the C.J. Baxters of the world, but some of these other wide receivers that they were really like, hey, these.
Well, it
kids
sounds like
DeAndre
Moore is going to leave as well.
Yeah, the Andre Butler kid. I mean, I know some of those kids didn't really have production. They're like, oh, they're third string and fourth string. They can't get on the field. But these are guys that, in a classes like that, they talk really highly of. They were this and that. I feel like they're making room because they're about to go out there and really lay it out on the line to really get a lot of players. I think they're going to, especially wide receiver wise, because I'm just going to be honest with you. I think Wingo is a great gadget player, but I still, the verdict is still out there on him as far as being a true wide receiver. He was not their one this year. I think their best wide receiver was Parker Livingstone by a mile. And I think that's one of the things that it's not talked about enough. Chris Mason, they get 2 5-star wide receivers who are riding the bench. Jonte Cook couldn't really get out there. He's riding the bench. I mean, it's just.
Well, now he's not there at all.
Yeah, he's not. I know he's not there at all. I'm just giving you an example, but
no, you're right. They've lost him, and the other guys, Lockett, and the other guy, I don't remember. Yeah, French. Did you see them? I didn't.
I mean, but that's my point with that is that they go there and
that's a lot. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of NIL. They got to
learn the system, and I know if Nick was on here, Nick will say freshmen should sit, Chris. Freshmen should sit. Blah blah blah. This and that. But you say you're putting a lot of money in these kids. It's the NIL era. You don't have all the time to sit and hide these kids for forever. I know some programs want to do that, but you would think these kids would be able to get out there. But Sark is crazy about his rotations like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I mean that's what that was Nagy's message. It was very clear, right? Look, I just spent money to get you Petit and Sears. They're playing next year. He was very clear, like, look, I'm not spending big money on high school wide receivers for them to sit for 2 years on the bench and not do a damn thing. Get them in the rotation, get them playing. That was Nagy's talking. Everyone's like, why is our GM doing interviews? Because he's telling you, he's also making, he's also setting agendas, but what he's saying. Same thing about, we got Hatton and Walker. I got you 2 big running backs. You should be getting them ready to play as well. So, but it's interesting to see. Texas, their O-line recruiting appears to have gone off the rails. I was never super impressed with their O-line coach. So yeah, they have some issues to figure out. But just in case we were all concerned, because I know, Chris, everybody in our chat room was very, very concerned. Arch Manning's coming back. He's not going pro. Just in case you were worried. I know we were all worried about that. The nation can now reconvene. We can now all enjoy the rest of the Christmas and New Year's season, the holiday season, knowing that Arch is coming back to Texas, and then that the pre-announcement of his announcement has been leaked. So I was, I was heartened and comforted knowing that he's returning, Chris. He's got nowhere to go. What the hell? Why are you making this big deal about it?
They can do what um they can do what they want to do. Oh man, I forgot about this. The freshman linebacker, Tyler Atkinson from Georgia, will be a good linebacker for Texas. Watching them play this year. Yeah, but you kind of just that's the whole thing. It's like you want those 5-star freshmen, you want the Anthony Hill type guys, but shit, like are you ready to turn the reins over to a true freshman? And, and
In the SEC.
I'm fine with them being a part of rotation, playing early, doing things like that. But I'm just like, unless they're just clear cut killing it from day one, are you really excited about that? But no, I mean, I just think that I think we're in a position to where I think we can go and pick what we want, but we're also in a position where again, it's cool to like OU again, right? It's cool to want to go and play. And defensively, I think you can go and talk to just about whoever you want, especially the guys who enter the portal. I think you can have I think there's a lot of conversation that can be had, even if they don't come to campus. There's a lot of conversations that can be had on defensively. Offensively, you're sitting there selling guys on the dream of, hey, we did this for Satania. Look at Satania. Satania came out of nowhere this year. He was on guys' radar, but he turned himself from a special teams guy to somebody who potentially could make a mark in the NFL with that speed. I mean, imagine if he was to get over there with the Dolphins, right? With how they want to run it with that coach McDaniels and all the rest of that stuff. I mean, he would fit really nicely. I think he's a guy who's going to make most of his money on special teams and just kind of doing that type of stuff. But at the same time, he's a guy that could go out there and potentially, I wouldn't necessarily say set the world on fire, but he's a guy who puts you on notice and just more speed added to the field. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, as a third wide receiver, he could fit on an NFL roster easily.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, as a speed guy, you got a couple other guys, and you do that. I mean, yeah, I mean, Texas recruits good guys. The question is, could a 5-star linebacker start at OU? I'm not sure they can. I'm not sure that they got to go through. They got to get their undergraduate degree at linebacker before they can start for us and their masters. So we've seen this time and time before. This is why we want to have linebackers. We don't want to go to the portal for linebackers, right? We want them developed in-house, getting their linebacker degree from the University of Venables.
All right, people. Before we jump up out of here, Chris Mason, let's go ahead. Let's speculate a little bit. Let's just speculate. Where the hell is DJ Lagway going right now in your mind?
Well, he's not going to Tech. That's where Raiola's going. Sorry, that's where Sorsby's going. If Chambliss gets a year, he's going to LSU. I think he's going to Miami because they were apparently trying to poach Sellers badly, and now Sellers is obviously insanely recommitted to South Carolina. So I think Underwood's going to stay at Michigan. He'll probably bolt his junior year if things don't go well next year. He's getting paid so much money at Michigan. I don't think he can really leave. And I think he's got a 2-year contract with them. He might as well just cash that money. I think he's going to Miami, Chris.
They had I saw a thing where gosh, I just lost my train of thought. It was a guy that was going somewhere. I saw
Like quarterback.
Yeah, it'll come back to me. But no, I think that Miami would probably be a good fit. I mean, you just have to kind of
There's buzz that Raiola's going to Oregon, which I don't quite understand.
How fast do you think? See, that's the problem right there. That throws a wrench into every effing thing, and it even comes back to us. I'm still waiting for the NCAA to clear Trajan Bridges fully. Now, of course they did, but you guys get what I'm saying. My gosh, it took forever. I was like, geez. Regardless, though, um, you're sitting there thinking to yourself, okay, for Heineke, how long is the decision going to take? Because the NCAA will drag this into spring football and then say, no, you're not going to be able to play. But you look at Chambliss, you got to ask the same thing. So does Kiffin monitor that situation and just hold out and keep Van Buren there? Because Van Buren is going to be a good quarterback in his system too. Or do you go ahead and pull the trigger on a DJ Lagway that you know for sure will have eligibility?
It's a great question because if you're sitting back and you think you're getting Chambliss, then you don't have to worry about Levitt, Lagway, or whoever else hits the portal. It sounds like Oregon and Indiana both realize they're losing their quarterbacks, so Indiana is going to be in play. I think Indiana is going to be in play for the North Texas kid. And if he has his choice between Oklahoma State and Indiana, go north, young man. Go north all the way to Bloomington.
I'm about to say, if he going north, he going to still. He
go north all the way to go up I-35, and don't veer off onto the Cimarron Turnpike and make your way to Stillwater, if that's how you get to Stillwater. Anyway, I don't even know how to get to Stillwater from Tulsa, and that's the Cimarron Turnpike. But anyway, if that still exists. But yeah, so that's a question. So you've got four elite landing locations, right? Oregon, Indiana, LSU, and Miami, all needing quarterbacks. He's not going to FSU. I thought
I forgot about Florida State. Now,
doesn't he have a? Why would you go there though? They're going to fire their offensive coordinator, right?
I wouldn't go there either because Malzahn, the stuff that he's going to ask you to do is not going to be anything different than what Faulkner was.
Let's end on this note from Sooner Cowboys.
That is true.
That happened. He visited last weekend. This week, the weekend that just passed, he went to Oklahoma State from Oregon.
Did he officially enter the portal, or did he just?
I don't know. Maybe he funded his own visit there. I don't know. So yeah, Clemson. Yeah, I mean,
is Klubnik gone or?
Oh yeah, he's gone. And Vizzini, which sounds like the villain from The Princess Bride, but I assure you is actually the name of Clemson's quarterback, is their next guy. And I've not seen him play at all. I mean, he was highly rated out of high school. I'm sorry, Unc. I had to go to Tulsa to do some academic bowl stuff out of high school, so. That's the only reason I went to Stillwater. It pained me to try. It pained me to drive there.
Topher says that he is in the portal. I didn't know. I got a homeboy.
He might be graduated though. He may have graduated, so maybe that's how he did it.
I got a homeboy who told me. He said, "Hey man," he said, "Yeah, bring JA on." He said, "Man," he said, "Morris will fix him." I'm just like, man.
Okay.
Y'all do what y'all got to do.
I don't know that you fix that, but yeah. So there's some a match made in heaven. Yeah, he is the dude wipes salesperson. So when you think of stinky ass, you think of Stillwater, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But I think on Monday, if we're not so hungover from a victory that we forget to have this pod, we'll have some more. If OU drops that game, we'll have some more answers about what's going on with the roster. But if OU wins that game, I think we may be kicking that can down the road until after the Rose Bowl.
Shit, Florida keeps losing players. They just,
we're about. Penn State is about to have a mass exodus once the portal hits.
People, I'm telling you now, if you're not, look, you got to follow. I'll obviously follow Hayes Fawcett, get on 3, but there are plenty of transfer portal sites.
Yeah.
Dedicated to the SEC, dedicated to OU, dedicated to just about every damn team. You need to be following that wire every time and click those bells and those icons so you make sure that you get pinged every time somebody enters the portal because it's about to be crazy. And speaking of that, like, subscribe, and do all those different things to both of these channels here, the Horns Down Podcast and Sooners 360. So definitely do that for sure. So
and we're going to be back Wednesday, right? We're going to do our Alabama preview on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think we will. I will. Yeah, we got to get with Jason and figure that out. I think a lot of people are going to be going to that.
We don't want to interrupt the breakdowns event.
Yeah, the
You
breakdown
know,
podcast is on Thursday this week, so I think most people will
at
be there. So
at the casino they got a great guest lineup. Now they need us pushing it, but regardless, so we should be back Wednesday with our Bama preview picks, et cetera, and then obviously some arguments over that. So,
yeah.
but yeah, this is again, it's a little bit of a lull, guys, but it's about to blow. OU needs 9 to 10 guys, so they're not skipping the portal, and we don't even know who's leaving yet. And we all know, we're not going to mention names. There's chaff on our roster, and we're
Yeah.
only keeping the wheat.
All right,